Hi, welcome to the YouTube video to learn about wedding photography lenses that you need for your wedding day. I'm a wedding photographer. You can follow me right now on Instagram or just follow along here on YouTube. Suess Moments Weddings. My name is Miranda Suess. I am a New York City and a New Jersey wedding photographer. I have been shooting since 2018. I've grown my business. I do this full time, and I'm ready to help others trying to grow their wedding photography business. And this video, I believe, will help you begin that journey into success on having the correct gear on when it comes to lenses for your wedding day. So keep watching this video and you'll learn some little tips here and there, and links below. So when you're ready to buy the product, if you need it, on the products that at least I use and I would recommend, you can click on the links below. Thanks so much, and keep watching. What I can tell you is I know what works best for me when it comes to wedding photography lenses. Now, for anybody starting out for a wedding, please, 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 you need to have a camera with 2 camera slots, and you need to have you actually need 2 cameras on you at all time, just in case of backup. You never know with technology, you might drop one, you have a backup. Always have 2 cameras when you're working a wedding day. Now, this video is about lenses, so let's move on with that little side tip and go forward onto the lenses. What's really important when it comes to lenses is that you have a variety. Now, a lot of people will give you different advice, and my advice might be different from another photographer that's given you advice, but I can rest assure you, I like light gear. I do not want gear that's heavy. I don't want lenses that are gonna weigh my wrists down, because over time, my wrists do hurt. So, I do think it's important that I have a camera that is lighter. And in order to get a light camera, I use prime lenses. Now, there are pros and cons of prime lenses. That means the lens doesn't move the focal length at all. It just stays one length. That's it. And you're working with that lens on the camera body. Now, I use prime lenses also because it is a sharper image at the end of the day. I've gotten so used to it, I don't mind it, but a lot of photographers want that variety on a flip on a switch, whatever you want to say. I really screwed that one up. The importance of these lenses is that you have a variety, right? So what I work with is an 85mm, which is more of a portrait lens. What you could have is either 85mm, a 105mm, 135mm, or what most people carry is a 70 to 200mm. Now, that is a heavy lens, and that is usually very expensive, but you get the variety between the 70mm to 200mm. Now, that is amazing. So what I recommend is you at least have one portrait style lens, or zoom lens will work. The next type of lens that you should have is a wide lens. Now, you can do a 35mm, which I have as my next prime lens that I carry. You can do a 24 to 70, which most photographers do carry. Now, that is a heavy lens again, and very expensive lens it can get. It can become a very expensive lens. So have that variety between the 85mm portrait lens and a 35mm wide lens, if you want to call it that. Now, the difference between those two lens types is one is going to make subjects appear closer than they actually are. So like when you're looking at your side mirror when you're driving your car and it says objects may seem closer than they appear, that is basically an 85, 105, 135mm lens, or your 70 to 200mm lens, telling you when you're shooting in your camera, things are going to appear a lot closer. What makes photos really epic about this, like your portrait lens, if you're taking a photo of a subject, their face is mainly in the frame, it's going to look slimmer. It's going to look very appealing, I believe. And then everything in the background is going to appear closer. So if you're shooting a subject against a skyline, for example, or mountains or beautiful ocean, whatever, that is all going to be pulled in closer to the frame with some magic trick. I don't know how technicians do it, but everything just appears much closer than it is. It is beautiful. It's actually my favorite type of lens is a portrait lens. When you have a 35 millimeter or wider lens, like 24 to 70 or 14 to 24, which I also carry, everything's going to seem further away, and the corners of, like the edges of your images will appear distorted. Everything's going to be kind of stretched out on the edge corners. I love using the 35 millimeter for landscape shots or just portraits of group photos. But I like bringing out my even wider lens, which is the 14 to 24, for the dance floor shots, because you can get really intimate in there and getting a lot of reactions happening in the moment as I focus on the subject that's in the center of the lens or the frame. Okay, so now that you got the differences in what types of lenses you should have on a wedding day, there's one last one I did not mention, and you won't be using this one much, but it's great for detail shots. And if you're a product photographer on the side, macro is going to be great for you. I use a 50 millimeter macro lens, which I'm actually shooting on right now on this Nikon Z6 II, this 50 millimeter macro lens. It isn't on the macro feature, which can get really close to like a ring, for example. If I just flick on the switch on the side of the lens, I can get super, super close and get tight onto the detail shot. But I also like the versatility of a 50 millimeter because a 50 millimeter is actually what what a human eye could see. So when you're shooting through a 50 millimeter lens, it's kind of what you see in real life. So that's as close as we got right now in the camera world. 50 millimeter is basically the human eye. So that's what I'm shooting on right now, and recommend. There are other lenses that do have the diversity of a macro function, so look into that as well. I believe even like portrait lenses can do it like a 105 or something like that. So look into that. I chose 50 millimeter, and you can too. But yeah, so hopefully that helps you with your wedding gear list. If you click on any of the links below, you're actually supporting my business. So thank you so much as I grow this YouTube channel to help other wedding photographers out there grow their businesses. Now, if there's anything in the comments you want to leave, maybe you don't agree what I have to say, or maybe you want to share what your gear list is and ask for recommendations, definitely drop a comment below. And keep doing what you love out there, guys. Mwah. Bye. Thanks for watching.